And I came across a few people that were talking about these things. They were talking about the ability to transfer energy, or what can you do with the human mind, or what is the potential of the human being above and beyond the everyday life, go to work, make a living, have a family. And what they were saying was kind of catching my attention. And I said, listen, where are you coming from? What is this knowledge? And they said that they formed a small group of people, and each comes from a different direction, bringing whatever they can, and they study together. And I came to a few of these meetings, and it was amazing. I mean, they were talking about what I was interested in. And they were talking about the fact that you can see auras, and that you can transfer energy, and that you can use gemstones for healing, and all kinds of things that were off the scope at the time. I mean, if you'd try and imagine talking about an aura 20 years ago, then, you know, people would look at you like you're crazy. Today, when people come for treatments, and if I don't mention the aura, then they start to say, listen, come on, you know, you're talking about the aura, you're talking about bioenergy, healing, transference. But at that time, it was not really acknowledged yet. Today, in every good hospital, every clinic, they'll have a ward for alternative medicine. I found myself spending more and more time in the university libraries trying to follow up the leads of what these people were talking about in this group. Because one came and said, you know, have you heard about the Essene Brotherhood? The Essenes, they used to live in the area where you live. And they were before the times of Christ. And they were living in the Dead Sea. And then someone came and said, have you heard about what the Aboriginals do in Australia? Or the Maoris, how they treat people in New Zealand? And someone else came and he was doing a study about the Native Americans. And these people were talking about magic. And it's exactly what I loved. And I found myself getting more and more into this. Now, at the same time, the word of mouth of what I do was getting out. And after the one TV program, there was another one, and 30 or 40 television programs, all talking about this fact that somehow, with the use of these hands, this person is doing things that the medical world does not understand. It got to the point where I was invited by doctors in hospitals to come and do the things that I do in the hospital. And there was a time when I was doing in the Tel HaShomer hospital, I was treating patients to stop smoking before surgery. The head of the department, Professor Amram Ayalon, invited me after having sent about 30 people for treatments and seeing they all quitted smoking. My father is a doctor, he's a professor, and he's the head of the department, has been, of a few different hospitals in Israel, in the surgery department. And he says, as a scientist, he has no problem with what I do because science doesn't understand. He says he has no problem with what I do because science doesn't understand everything. Some things you can do what you do and you can measure the results, although you might not understand what is being done. And he calls me, my son, the medicine man. You know, we work out from the same clinic, him as a specialist surgeon and myself as a medicine man. And today, you know, plastic surgeons send their patients, even if they don't want to stop smoking, he says, listen, just go, stop for a few months, then I'll operate you, because then there won't be any seams and there won't be any things to correct later. So where did this all begin? Well, it all began naturally, as a child, just doing the things I loved to do. And as time went on, I met more people, and then I went and I met some people in Austria. And I went and met some people in Brazil. I went to Australia, and I went to New Zealand. And I had meetings with people in England, and meetings with people in France. I went and I met a shaman up in Lapland. Now, all these people were talking about the same things. The human has an aura. The human is not just physical flesh and bones. There is the bone structure, there is the blood, the flesh, the nervous structure, but then there's more. There's electrical fields, there's centers of energy, chakras. You have the whole system of movement of energy through the system, through what are called meridians. And all of this energy thing is happening all around. Now, when you look at a person, you can see this. I can take a person, With a short training, and about half an hour later, the person can begin to see these things that I'm talking about. All these different things from all different directions have been coming at me now. Since I'm interested in it, and people know I'm interested, they bring me videos, they tell me stories, they say, listen, you have to hear about this, or go into this internet site. Now I'm telling you, I am amazed. I continue to be amazed like a little child every time from the beginning. Because every time I think I understand something, I get this total amazement because it's so much more. It's so much bigger. You can do so much more than just, look at a person's aura. You can help them. You can heal them. You can take a person and see things they don't even know and correct them before they even manifest physically. I mean, some of these things are absolutely off the screen. It's a wonder. If I was to make a series of explanations, say 3 videos, I would probably make one, what is the aura? The second would be something about, now that you know you've got an aura, what does it mean? And the third would be something about, okay, now that you understand the meaning, what do you do? What are the practicals about it? So part 1 about what is the aura, I'd start from where it actually forms up, where does it begin? Because throughout history, every painting of any important person in history always comes with an aura, a halo around the head, a whole aura about the body, lights coming out, energies. And it's not just the big names, like Buddha, Jesus, Moses and the rest. It's everybody's got one. At birth, a person is already born with an aura because it's formed up in the womb during the pregnancy. So a person is born with this energy system all around them. The thing is that everything manifests in the aura. When a person thinks a thought, it is projected into the aura. When a person feels a feeling, it goes into their aura. When a person hears something, it comes in through the aura, leaves a certain imprint and goes to the ear. Any sight, any impression coming in must go through the aura and its residue back into the aura. So basically the aura, it's like a system that records everything, anything that has ever happened to a person from birth. Anything even if they don't remember it, it's there. It's like a hard disk of memory that's conjoined to the internet. And a person via their aura can drag, drop, copy, paste, go into places in the internet of the world. When we interact, people actually interact first through the aura, then with the person themselves. The first impressions that we get when we look at a person, that intuitive feeling, is what we pick up in the energy. Now, everything is in the aura, for good and for bad. And that's another thing that people have to know, because when you think something about a person, you leave a certain imprint on their aura, for good or for bad. All religions say you may not speak bad about another, because when you think even about another, you can weaken them. You can put a smudge of dirt on them, just like, if you look at a window and a child touches the window with his nose or with a dirty hand because he's had a lollipop, it leaves a smudge. Smudges are left on people's auras. And much of the work that I do when I come to help people is basically having to clean up things that shouldn't be there. Things should be as they were meant to be, not as they are. Now, people know this about food. They know they shouldn't eat rotten food, or they should try and avoid drinking not filtered water, or not breathing industrial, dirty air. So people are more aware about what they put in their food, in their mouth, than what they're aware about what they put in their mind. And that's a problem, because what goes into people's minds affects what they think, what they feel, their beliefs. If a person is told by a teacher when he is 7 years old, listen, you're no good, the imprint of that can cause a person to be mediocre or less for the rest of their life, because it leaves an imprint on the aura, and that's not easy to clear away. People have problems from here till wherever because of what other people have said to them and they have believed. Because of what they have said to themselves. Because people become what they think about and what they believe in.